everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where comedy and sports collide. If you guys are not familiar with it, this is where we talk a lot of sports about what happened last night or just have a lot of debates and everything like that. But anyway, let me get ready to bring in some of the comedians you guys have known from, who've traveled all around the world. They've been in comedy films, film festivals, film festivals. They've been in comedy commercials. They just done everything related to comedy. First up is my man Talent. He's been in everything. He's from Def Comedy Jam and films. And matter of fact, I got to talk to you one day about that basketball film you was in to see if y'all really played. I got to bring in my man Fig. He's been an actor and also a comedian forever and a day. And also got to bring in my man Mr. Rodney Perry. He's been in films and most recently Coming to America. Before I jump into the show, guys, I want to say this on a somber note. I want to dedicate this show to the great Paul Mooney. We all know and love Paul Mooney. He's been in the comedy game since the 60s. Wrote for Richard Pryor. He's been, I had several conversations with Paul Mooney. And even though I stood there for hours and I only asked him one thing, you know, he's still a great dude. Talent, you want to just give a dedication to Paul Mooney before we jump into the show?
Oh, absolutely. Here's to Paul Mooney, man. One of the best that ever did it. One of the, if nothing else, because I know some comedians are acquired taste. If nothing else, you have to admire his bravery.
Right.
You know, those guys, those comedians who were brave to forge their own path against the grain during those trying times. Like, it's more easy now. It's 2021, so it's not as impressive. Anybody can be a tough guy. But to be a tough guy, tough comedian in those times and forge the path for so many of us to come behind him, hats off, kudos to the great Paul Mooney.
Fig, you want to follow that?
Absolutely, man. One of the most iconic celebrity comedians that we have. He was a comedian's comedian. One that when he was on stage and you was in the room, I don't care what level that you were on or what level you had achieved or attained, you would just sit back and watch. And I would put Paul Mooney in comedy on the same level as some of the great civil rights activists, sports activists, Muhammad Ali, the Jim Browns, because he sacrificed a great portion of his career in order to speak against social injustice. And he was a genius comedy writer and performer and spoke the truth. Got to give it up to Paul Mooney, one of the greatest of our time, one of the greatest that ever did it.
Rodney Perry, you got some words, bro?
Absolutely. I had the opportunity to talk to Paul Mooney a couple of times. I was doing a podcast over on Blog Talk Radio. Had a chance to talk to him and Dick Gregory for that matter. And just a really good comedian. Well, I'll go a step further. A great comedian in terms of somebody asked me earlier today, could Paul Mooney even exist in this time? You know, of political correctness and cancel culture. I think he would still find a way, and it would be harder for us to live in his time. You know, and to call a spade, to call, we speak of race on this show from time to time, but to call those things out and remain funny and to keep it light enough where it was still funny. That's the gift. You know, it's easy to say it, but to say it and people go, boy, you stupid. Is a great thing. So Heaven gets a little funnier today, and I wonder who headlined it: Red Fox, Richard Pryor, or Paul Mooney.
Right. I'll leave you with this. In 2008, I met him for the first time. There was some kind of event. I don't even remember what the event was, but the whole thing was an honor to Paul Mooney. He took me aside. We became friends. And when he called me, man, we talked. I knew I was going to be on the phone for hours, but he didn't lie about nothing. He was not afraid to say whatever he had to say, man. And, being that I was doing comedy news, and at the time, nobody was doing that, he gave me some great accolades, and he inspired me when I wanted to quit early on. So, kudos to Paul Mooney, condolences to his family. All right, let's get ready to jump into the show. Because of what Paul Mooney did, we're able to do shows like this. I want to jump in first and say the COVID report is kind of different today because we've been talking about it, Talent. I'm going to start with you. We've been talking about it leading up to this. And this morning, I read on the Wall Street Journal this morning that the Tokyo Medical Association, they're urging all the organizers and all the organizations affiliated with the Olympics to basically cancel the Olympics, including the IOC. They've had a conversation with the IOC committee, which is the International Olympic Committee. They're trying to force them to cancel the Olympics. Mind you, the Olympics is 7.5 weeks away. Your thoughts on this, Talent? Not like we ain't heard this before, but your thoughts?
Cancel. My thoughts is cancel. When you got people with credibility, that's why you have these people. That's the thing that cracked me up. We have all of these little organizations and committees for the simple reason of an oversight to stop certain dumb stuff from happening. So we're in a pandemic. I know we're trying to loosen up and whatever with the economy, but this committee and this organization is saying, yo, I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready. You know what? Let's reboot. Let's cancel this. Let's look further down the line, for safety reasons. Now, these people are telling you, they out there. They like, listen, this is the Tokyo committee. This ain't the committee in the Bronx.
Right.
They're talking to somebody via satellite. These are people in Tokyo. Yeah, don't do it.
Right. Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying? It's one thing for a neighbor down the block to say, yo, you going to Rodney Perry house? Chill. You got a dog going to bite you. There's a whole other thing. If Rodney behind the gate, like, don't bring your ass in here.
Right. Fig, what you think?
Hey man, we live in a society that seems to be run ass backward. We let our politicians tell the scientists and the doctors what to do in the midst of a pandemic. It's like the political powers that be can put pressure on the scientists and the doctors to tell the general public to open up and to do things to put the vast majority of society in jeopardy, when in all actuality it should be the other way around. We have the scientists and the doctors saying this shit is dangerous and we probably shouldn't be doing this, and I don't think y'all should come. We should cancel the Olympics, because if we don't, here's what they saying underlining, if we don't, thousands of people could either get sick or die. I'd listen to the scientists and the doctors.
Rodney Perry.
Well, the way I understand it is, it looks like the Olympics is scheduled to be pushed back again, and that pushback will take it out of 2021. And so they're saying if it goes out of 2021, that they're going to cancel it. And so that's kind of the idea that I'm reading here on this story by Simon Denyer. And so I guess it's probably a time situation. And I mean, you feel for these athletes though, man, that's been training for the last 4, 5, 6 years, preparing for this moment. And some of them may miss their window because of the coronavirus. So like my colleagues say, if it needs to be canceled, it should be. But if you can work it out, work it out. I mean, the vaccine is everywhere, and they say it works, or it doesn't.
Yeah, but the topic, and I don't want to keep going on with this because we talk about it all the time, but the topic is that people want to cancel it, but some of these countries are not getting their vaccinations. They want to mix all those people back up again. Meanwhile, in Japan, in Tokyo, their numbers are rising again. So I don't know. But there's another hot topic I want to talk about. You guys know I always do my digging and I always do my research, right? And I found a report. Of course, it's not being talked about on TV anywhere, but I found a report that was very interesting. Here it is. Here's the story. It is a former Louisville basketball assistant coach. His name is Dino Guado. He got charged yesterday. He got federally charged for attempting to extort Louisville. Right now, he's trying to threaten the school. He's going to report the school for recruiting violations. And his extortion was simple. Pay me 17 months salary right now, or I'm releasing this video of you guys doing all these, recruiting violations. Now, again, this is Louisville. You all remember Rick Pitino. He came from Louisville. Louisville seemed to be still doing.
You're talking about Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, and the Louisville basketball program that Rick Pitino was at, this assistant coach said, "I want 17 months salary right now, or you guys are continuing to do this. You're in a D1 school program. You're continuing to you have these violations if you don't pay me right now." But guess what? He got busted. So when you hear that, talent, I mean, Louisville's in some serious problems. One, they went to the federal, to the FBI about this, and two, they seem to still be breaking the rules for recruiting violations. Talent, what's your thought?
My thought, man, he almost got that money, man. Damn. I'm always going to be rooting for the come up. Know that. He almost came up, though. He was right there. He's like, yo, I know he just was. Oh, man. They probably, if you ever watch those TV shows with the FBI, they probably did that to him. All right, where you want us to drop it? And then when he went to the drop, FBI said, hands behind your back, sucker. You know what I mean? He almost got the money. I think that this is America, man. And that, it's a shame, but that's how we are here in this country. Instead of taking the information he had and him going to the authorities saying, look, they're still doing this, boom, boom, shut them down. He thought the American dream way and was like, I got something, give me some money. And it didn't work. Now he's busted on extortion. I think, man, we are in a desperate time, and we just get more and more desperate. Good for him.
Well, Fig, I'm going to throw it to you and say this. He really had something over them because they had Rick Pitino, and Louisville is still trying to recover from the Rick Pitino incident that literally put them out of everything for years. You know what I mean? For years. And he has something. So either, I don't know, he messed up or they messed up, but there's a mess up somewhere. What's your thoughts?
I think he underestimated how powerful and how many friends that Rick Pitino actually has. It's a terrible day in America when the snitch gets snitched on. It's awful. It's just like, yo, I'm trying to commit a crime and to talk about you committed a crime, but you calling the cops on me about my crime, but we're going to forget about your crime.
That's funny.
What we doing here in America? Like, I thought it's supposed to be the American way, extortion, the whole thing, you know what I mean? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, that's what America is all about. At least that's what they do. If you're a patriot. You gotta find a way to get away with your cheating and your extortion.
I don't know if he did a dig at the New England Patriots there, but we're going to circle back to that in a second. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Wow. Look, man, people take that extortion very seriously. He tried it, took a brick in the face, and now it's just a tough day for Guido, man, and Louisville. I mean, at the end of the day, he said he was going to tell. They probably didn't come through with the money. Now it's in the media. It's a wrap.
Yeah. What I don't think everybody is going to be paying attention to. This is the reason it was such a big story to me, and I ain't seen on nothing this morning. I flipped the channel. I ain't seen on nothing this morning. It's Louisville's a D1 school. You know what I mean? And for this thing to come out, and there's two things here. One, that the coach was extorting them, but two, the other thing is they're still doing stuff that are violating the recruiting thing. Is huge to me. They still would risk that because now that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, that's millions.
But I think everybody's still doing whatever they was doing. I don't think anybody stopped. It's all a point of getting caught.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cleans all the way up.
Snitching is woven into the fabric of America.
Yep.
Extortion. If you got brothers or sisters, or you grew up in a household and you did something wrong, somebody in your household be like, "Oh, I'm telling you," like, "Listen, don't tell." It was like, "All right, let me get your candy stash. Let me get that candy stash, and I won't tell mom and dad on you, and you can get away with it." That's extortion. I don't care what nobody say. That's extortion at a very basic level, and that's what we do here in America. It all started when we were kids.
I mean, snitching and extortion is two different things. Snitches don't get no money. Snitches just tell. So it's kind of a different thing. But it definitely started when we were kids. And he tried to make it happen. I mean, and he's got a pretty hefty salary. He make like $5 million a year.
Mhm.
Hold on, he said snitching and extortion are two different things, and Fig did both of them.
Right.
Oh, low ball. Okay, all right. Let's get you on moving on the show.
And I'm probably why Frank White didn't hit the news, because nobody cares.
Well, everybody should, is because it could.
They definitely should. They definitely should. But
they should, because it's a seismic. It's not like Louisville is around the corner team. You know what I mean? Louisville is a huge basketball program, and in the '90s, Louisville was going into the Sweet 16 all the time. You know what I mean?
If you keep calling it Louisville, then we know don't nobody give a damn. It's
I'm sorry.
That's the Boston.
Yeah, that's Boston of me, but come on.
Louisville.
He had a cousin. Rodney. He had a cousin named Lewis that spells his name the same way.
That's exactly.
And he drove a coupe de Ville.
Like that'd be like calling Louis Armstrong. Hey, what Louis at? Louis.
Hey, Frank, you should be ashamed of yourself when the guy down south is correcting you.
You know what I'm saying?
The guy in Georgia is correcting your ass.
If he said he was going to the park of the car, I would have said nothing.
You know, hey, listen. There's a major difference between Louis Armstrong and Louis Riddick.
Yeah, and not just the color of their skin, right?
Exactly.
It's just a W. But we go.
All right. Next story up, man, is I know you all are not paying attention to this, but I do want to say one thing. Rodney Perry used to always say about this, and I saw a baseball expert, co-sign what you said this morning, Rodney Perry. Baseball is not the sport anymore, because Spencer Turnbull threw a no-hitter last night, and there was a huge void of people actually watching the game. You know what I mean? For the Seattle Mariners, he was dominant pitching. He's the most ever. He had the record high in strikeouts. He did all kinds of things. He did everything he could do, and nobody watched and nobody cared. Talent, what you got?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I can appreciate the no hitters and all that, because again, I love people breaking records and stats, but I can't lie and say that Rodney and Fig don't have a point when they say this is one accolade to make you hate the game more. Nothing's happening.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing what he's doing, but it is more boring to the game. So it's like, yeah, it's great what he's doing, but I'm about to go home. I'm gonna pop some popcorn.
Frank, what you think?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's just like the worst thing in the world that you could possibly do to a baseball game is to throw a no-hitter. Because like Talon said, that means nothing is going on, like no action whatsoever. And the bad thing about it is that I watched the baseball game that started at 1:00, and at 2:00, my wife and I, we went grocery shopping, we did some laundry, ran a few errands, and we came back, and the game was still on. It was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the game was still on. I was like, you know what? That's why they call it the great American pastime. You can pass a lot of time watching a baseball game doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Hey, man, I grew up playing baseball. I played Little League baseball. I really enjoyed baseball, but, I mean, if you're not on the field, baseball is boring as hell. And how about this? A no-hitter don't mean they struck out everybody, but this dude not only threw a no-hitter, he struck out like 19 batters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so are the people hitting the ball getting worse, or are the pitchers getting better?
Good question.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but at the end of the day, it's all a sad reflection of baseball. And I'm gonna say this: we may be seeing the end of baseball.
Well,
hey, let me tell you this. I think what the problem is the batters are scared to take a pitch to the face. Did you see what happened to this kid? They busted up his whole nose. Man, these pitchers ain't got no control like they used to.
The baseball experts came on this morning and said that the baseball pitchers are throwing the ball faster than they ever had before in the history of baseball. But let me bring on to the next baseball topic I want to talk about real fast so we can move on, is that there's been an event going on in the Twins versus the White Sox drama for the last 2 nights. Now, how you guys been saying, baseball's boring, nothing's been happening. Well, the last 2 nights, on Monday night, the Twins were playing the White Sox. Yermin Mercedes came up to the plate, right? Let me set the stage for you, talent. Yermin Mercedes came up to the plate. It was 11-0. It was 9th inning, 11-0. Okay? The pitcher is throwing the ball 47 miles an hour. I could hit the ball at 47 miles an hour. Yermin Mercedes said, okay, well, if you guys are throwing it that slow, I'm going to hit it. And he hit a 3-run home run at the bottom of the 9th, right? Baseball players got upset. The manager, his own manager, got upset. He said, you don't do that in baseball. You're trying to show the other guy up. Now it's 15-0. I'm mad at you. I'm going to bench you. He was mad at his own teammate. Was that showing him out? Or what do you think? What do you think, Talent? What do you think?
Of course it is, but I would have did the same thing. You come in there throwing a 40-mile-per-hour pitch, you're saying hit this, or I could take it like a personal disrespect. What are you trying to say? You throw 45 miles per hour, you say I'm the suckiest guy on my team? You think I can't hit this ball? Pow! 15-0. I would do the same damn thing. I don't think so. Like if the other team is playing to the end, you play to the end. It's not like, I know it's 11-0, but let's keep it real. It's not like, basketball where you could just, hold and dribble and the clock keep going. The game has to go through the mechanisms.
Fig, some players came to his defense saying that, you know what, we play the game to the end. That's how we play. You agree? Disagree?
And man, baseball has all of these hidden rules. These unspoken, unwritten rules, these guidelines that you have to go by. You can't flip the bat. You can't stand there and pose when you hit a home run. You got to do this. You got to do that. And none of these things are written down, so you actually understand. They're sort of like unwritten rules. And what people don't realize is the pitcher, that was the Bugs Bunny powerful palooka percussion pitch. He was trying to slow it down, throw the ball, and have the guy swing at it 3 times and get a strikeout all with one pitch. That was the cartoon baseball Bugs Bunny powerful palooka percussion pitch.
Why are you doing the Bugs Bunny, the cartoon hand?
Yeah, he was doing that too. Right? He was doing that too. Rodney Perry, I'm throw it to you and say, if you're the batter, you could be saying, you know what, the more home runs I hit, the more my check is going to be too. You know what I mean? You could be doing that.
No, it was messed up. The game is over. The guy, it's like at the end of a basketball game. Sometimes when they just dribble the ball out, they could take a shot, but they dribble the ball out, right? They could take a 3. They could do a lot of things, but they don't out of respect for the other team. When the guy allows the ball across the plate, it's not for you to run across the plate and slap the shit out of it. What type of you know that's wrong, man. You know that's wrong. You're already whooping their ass, and you're gonna do that. See, somebody gonna get hit in the face with another ball. I'm telling y'all, that's always the beginning of them teams fight. Every team that's ever fight been over some shit like this.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that one. The very next night, Miller, they had this drama.
He ran out the box to hit it, Talent.
And the very next night, right, the pitcher throws behind him. The same guy comes up the bat, and the pitcher throws behind him, and everything gets all crazy. But I want to keep moving on because there's something else I want to bring up. I want to be able to talk about, I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. The WNBA player posted her 10th triple-double in the 6th game of the season, and her name was Sabrina Ionescu. She posted a 10th triple-double in her short career and the 6th career game for the New York Liberty over the Minnesota Lynx. Now, Talent, this chick is supposed to be talented. Rumors are coming out that if anybody can play with the boys, it could be her. What you think?
Well, Sabrina, she's a witch.
Teenage witch. She's teenage.
She's a teenage witch, played for the WNBA. And what better place? Everybody know witches are where you from, Frank? Connecticut and New York. That's where the witches are. So New York Liberty is a perfect home for her. She is, I love this as Megan. Like the same way we talk about how uninteresting baseball can be and how boring it can be. This WNBA girls basketball, women's basketball is totally the other end of that spectrum. I will go to those games any day that I have the opportunity because of the excitement. They're very intense, very excitement. And for now, for us to be watching a woman recording multiple triple doubles, and I'm talking early in six, like you said, 6 games, like early in at 7, 8, 9, 10. I think this is exciting for the game on top of excitement. I love it.
I will go on record and say, the girls now are starting to look like the boys. Like they're playing really good ball. Like, it's exciting. Hey, what's your thoughts?
Skills, fundamentals of the game. This young lady, man, she's just I think she's kin to Russell Westbrook, somehow indirectly related, man, putting up all these triple doubles. Happy that she's playing for the Liberty too, man, because the Liberty, we need to start winning just like the men's team on the other side of the aisle, man. I'm glad this young lady is playing for the New York Liberty and doing her thing, man. And I was watching some of the highlights, man. She's knocking down 3-pointers. I mean, this girl, she's a baller, man. I'm with talent. When it first started, you didn't know how good it was going to be, but now it's turned into something. But the NBA game wasn't all that exciting when it first started because it was on tape delay. Yeah. The females are now catching up, man. They doing their thing, and it's an exciting brand of basketball, very competitive.
Rodney Perry.
Here goes the sexist. Okay. I'm not impressed. You're supposed to make shots. And the fact that you're making triple doubles on other people that ain't good, then that's what it is.
Dude, it's crazy.
Okay? Is this gonna be the girl to play with the boys? She's 5'5". Hell no.
So no? Okay.
No. She ain't gonna be she gonna now all of a sudden she Michael Jordan? No, she 5'5". She literally 5 feet 5. She is good with other 5'5" women.
Okay. All right. I'll believe you with that.
And I don't want to hear this New York Liberty. Y'all Fig don't even know what a team is. Talk about like he be watching them play every once in a while. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Tyler might go to the game just like I go to these Atlanta games because they give me free tickets.
Yeah.
No, I watch them. I don't go to the stadium. But I watch them. Hey man, let me tell you something. I was when
It's not your turn, Fig. It's not your turn. It's not your turn, Fig. It's not your turn.
Hold on.
It's not your turn. It's not your turn, Fig. You take my turn. Take my turn, Fig. Okay, I'll finish. Go ahead.
All right. When the WA first came out, when the WNBA first came out, I was the first person to do a WNBA promo commercial. I was a WNBA groupie.
Did they pay you?
Yes.
Well, what you talking about?
Yeah.
You got paid, Fig. You just doing a job.
Hey man, I was there at the very beginning, man. With Lisa Leslie and all of that, man. I was there, baby. I did a commercial with some of the greatest.
You only was there because they paid you.
Okay, can we move on? The next story I want to talk about. I don't know if you all have been noticing the bicyclists and people riding the bikes and everything else, but the national cycling champion, her name is Gwen Inglis. She got killed this week.
Are we out of regular sports? What the hell are we doing?
Can I finish? She's a national cycling champion in sports. She got killed this past weekend for riding her bike in the city. She got hit by a car. She died. Now, I'm talking about sports because she was supposed to repeat this year. Everybody was looking at her to come in and repeat. Now, my wife and I, we would go around everything else. One thing we complain about is bicycle, the bicycling and everything else, because it's a sport. We think it should be banned. But now it might be a movement, with the government for them to start saying certain amount in certain cities, you cannot ride your bike because it's a so-called sport and should be banned in the lanes and everything else. So I just wanted to bring that up. Sal, I'll give you 30 seconds to say something real quick about this because I want to talk about other stuff.
I'm confused. I don't think you're going to be able to ban bicycles. Take New York City, for instance. New York City has invested millions on top of millions restructuring the whole diagram and streets through all the boroughs to create bike lanes for them. Like They used to have to go with the traffic, but if you go into Manhattan right now, they got more rights on the roads than the vehicles. So to turn all that around after they did like the last decade or two movement to making it happen, I can't see it happen.
Yeah, it'd be tough for them to do it. Big, your thoughts?
Man, it's sad, man. I used to be when I was younger, I used to be a cyclist, man. Not in any, competition, man, but riding all over from Brooklyn, all over the boroughs, Coney Island, Manhattan, and stuff like that. Very dangerous, man, because cars don't look out for cyclists, man, and you could get injured or killed riding a bicycle in the street. And for that reason, I bought an indoor bike, and that's where I do all my riding from now on.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I ride an indoor bike as well, Fig. But I ride outside. Here in Atlanta, they have a lot of trails, and the bikers tend to ride on trails, but the real cyclists take to the streets, and it is dangerous. It's always been dangerous, and I mean, if you're on a motorcycle, it's dangerous. So imagine being on a bicycle, man, and just people not always seeing you. So I mean, sorry to hear about this lady losing her life, and that she was a major contender for that cycling, but I still wonder. What are we talking about?
All right, let's move on. Since you wonder, I got to talk about the Celtics played the Wizards last night. The Celtics, as a Celtics fan, before I throw it to you, Talent, I'm gonna say this: I didn't watch the game. I didn't have anything. I was hoping they would lose. And like I said via text this morning to all you guys, I was hoping they would lose because of the simple fact being I wanted them to get a higher draft pick. It only makes sense, like how Golden State did this year with that kid they got. You know what I mean? They would have been in the mix. Now they won't. But now they are headed to face the Brooklyn Nets, and
right.
They're gonna probably get swept. Everybody's picking them. Hey, it's gonna be a great. It's not gonna be no damn great series. They're gonna lose by an average of 20 points, and it's gonna be over. And then Brooklyn's gonna be sitting there waiting for who their next component's gonna be. But hey, that's what it is. Talent, what's your thoughts about the Celtics going on in the playoffs, or should they have lost the play? What do you think?
Well, first of all, it was both of those games yesterday would have been trash. Celtics had the second game. I had the privilege of watching it inside of one of my favorite bars, and if it wasn't for the tequila, that would have been the worst thing to watch in the world. Both games weren't even close, and it's a play-in situation, so I do want to see some excitement. I'm hoping tonight is better than last night, but I understand how you wanted the draft pick and everything, but I wouldn't if that's my team. I wouldn't give up on them just so early. You know what I mean? Keep hope alive, Jesse.
Yeah, but at the same token, they're sick. They ain't got all their players. They're being affected by COVID. They're not going to win this series. There's no hope alive. We've been in the playoffs the last couple of years. This ain't Jesse Jackson. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Get the draft pick. Come back next year healthy with the healthy Kemba Walker with a new draft pick, Jaylen Brown. It makes more sense for them. It made more sense for them to lose to me. Fig, what's your thought?
Unlike Talent, I watched both games. I sort of passed on the first game. The first game was a blowout. It wasn't competitive at all. But to me, the Washington Boston game was a little more competitive, especially in the beginning of the game because Washington was winning, and then the Celtics came back, and to watch this young man put on the show the way he did, dropping 50 points, man, was just it was amazing. I thought that Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal would be able to be able to contend. I thought it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game. Good for the Celtics to be able to win. I know where you're coming from, Frank, to be able to get a better draft pick. But think about this. Think about how many of these draft picks picked in the first round actually do well or turn out to be something. Great majority of them are I wouldn't call them busts, but they don't turn out to be the stars and the organization turnaround players that people bring them out to be. I actually think that draft picks sometimes are really overrated when it comes to the NBA because it takes about 3 to 4 years for most of these guys to come into their own.
See, draft picks are 50-50 because Jaylen Brown was a draft pick. Jason Tatum was a draft pick. Ben Simmons was drafted. These guys were all high draft picks. They look what they're doing for their team. So it's a 50-50 thing. You can get busts too. Like the two last picks the Celtics got are bums. I don't care what nobody says. These dudes are bums.
Right. But the only point I'm trying to make is like those guys are great, right? But they wasn't that way their first year out. Like
Jason
right
Tatum.
now, they're like stars, like bona fide stars.
You're
They
a
wasn't
horrible
that when
fan,
they were
Frank.
rookies.
Jason Tatum took the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals his rookie year. So it
You
depends on how you look.
You
Depends
win.
on how you look at it.
But
Wait.
you're a horrible fan, man. Remember that year my Knicks was the 8th seed? We went to the chip.
That I was going to bed at 8:30 then, Town. No, I don't remember. Rodney Perry was.
Hey, I mean, there's always two ways to look at every situation. There's the negative way and the positive way. I think the positive look for the Celtics is that Tatum really came into his own last night. The dude looked like a superstar. And I know you saying, well, he's been a superstar. No, he hasn't. He's faded in these situations before, and he did not fade last night. The dude looked incredible from top to bottom. 50 points, 5 of 12 from 3, 17 of 17 from the free throw line, 14 to 32 in field goal. Man, the dude played a phenomenal game. And if nothing else, you got a bona fide superstar and Tatum out there now. That's a good look. Whoever come and join him.
Hey, listen, don't get it twisted. Jason Tatum is a superstar now. He cemented himself as a star this rookie season when he came in the league. There's a big difference. I understand. He was a star. Nobody saw him coming.
But he
Except
arrived
him.
last night, though.
Yes. Look,
So if
last
he
night,
lose that game, he don't arrive.
no, I think he arrived a couple weeks ago when he scored 50 or 60 points. I think everybody's like he's a megastar. When he
That's some funny shit. You made it sound like you picked him up from the airport. No, he arrived a couple weeks ago. He came in at 11:50 American Airlines. It was me and my.
All right, let me talk about the Pacers too.
I met him at the baggage claim.
And as much as y'all guys talk about stats and people in the league, like I ain't no fan of teams taking games at the end of the season. I mean, I'm glad the Celtics came out and played, especially against the Wizards, because the Wizards talk too much shit.
Yeah, but again, everybody's what they are. You know what I mean? Y'all, this ain't your team, so of course you're gonna say all that. I'm a fan of my team, and they would be better if they had got the draft pick. That's just the way I look at it.
Who's the draft pick that you're looking at, Frank? Who's the draft pick coming out of college this year that you're looking at?
Still going to
playoffs
playoff
over the top.
Hold on. Here's a better question, Frank. Are you Boston spoiled?
Yes.
Like if it ain't already looking like it's in the bag or y'all dominating, you just fall back like I want us to lose, get a draft pick. Are you Boston spoiled?
Probably. I'm probably spoiled.
Wow.
Who's the guy, Frank? Who's the guy coming out that you think could turn the Celtics whole franchise around?
Not guy. There's 5 centers right now. 5 that are playing and that are going to go in the top draft in first round next. It's 5. So I'll take any of them.
Y'all not gonna get them no way.
We're definitely not. Because they won last night. Definitely not. They're not even gonna get a first.
But y'all ain't gonna even try to get them.
I ain't gonna argue with you right
The
now.
Y'all got a better chance of grabbing one of those cartoons from Space Jam too.
Can I move on? Can I move on? I got to talk about the Pacers game last night too, because the Pacers game was a blowout. So I'm gonna ask you this, Talent. Do you think Michael Jordan was upset with the Charlotte Hornets, and was he upset with Gordon Hayward? Because Gordon Hayward was so-called cleared to play, did not play last night, and they lost that game. And things are looking horribly for him. You know, his first year tenure there. What do you think Michael Jordan's looking at that now?
Yeah, I think so. Because the one thing we've all come to know about Michael over the last 3-4 decades is how competitive he is, and that goes across the board. That goes from when he's laced up to when he's coaching somebody laced up to when he hires somebody to be on his team laced up to in a goddamn casino gambling laced up. He's competitive from every end of the spectrum. So I do think that he probably was upset, you know, with the output of that team last night. I don't even know them. They ain't even my team. And I was upset. I think I ordered 2 more shots of Hornitos when watching that game. That game stressed me out just because it wasn't competitive enough.
Yeah, so Michael Jordan's got to be upset, right, Vic? He got to, because Gordon Hayward didn't play. They got blown out. He got to be, right?
Michael Jordan, which I say is the greatest player that ever laced him up in the NBA, in my humble opinion, should be upset with himself, because as an owner or being in charge of that franchise, he has picked some of the most horrible players to ever lace him up in the NBA. He's picked some of the worst players ever. He is horrible at drafting players. And then to give Gordon Hayward all of that money, Gordon Hayward hasn't been the same since he left Utah. That Gordon Hayward, we have never, ever, ever seen him again. The one that played in Utah, we've never seen that Gordon Hayward again. He had that horrific injury day one, the first game of the season that he played for the Boston Celtics, and we've never seen that player again. Gordon Hayward should have never gotten paid that kind of money to join the Charlotte Hornets. Never.
Rodney Perry, is Michael Jordan upset? Terry Rozier got a bit more money than he was supposed to. Gordon Hayward got more money than he was supposed to. Actually, Gordon Hayward got $15 million more money than the Celtics was offering him. They overpaid by market standards. They overpaid by $12 million for Gordon Hayward. They overpaid by $10 million for Terry Rozier. Should Michael Jordan, the owner, because he's spearheading this, should he be upset at these players because now they were expected to make the playoffs now, make a playoff run this year? Should he be upset?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the situation you was trying to outline with the Celtics is happening right in front of our eyes with the Charlotte Hornets. They're looking to the future. They're looking to get some better players out there, and you just can't do that while you winning games. And so not only do you lose a game, but you get your ass whooped. So you can make sure there's no question whether you lost or not, and that you should be getting this first round draft pick.
All right, let me ask you all the next question. Jeremy Lin, who also was a Knick, and I think he was a Laker, he played around everything else. He officially went on his Instagram, and he basically said that, yeah, nobody wants me. I didn't get a call. And I'm officially going to bow out of the NBA. He didn't officially retire. He's just not on an NBA roster. So I'm going to ask you, Tally, because y'all seen him play more than I have. I've seen him play maybe 3 games. So Jeremy Lin get a call to an NBA roster this year?
Well, first of all, he's been getting calls, Frank. Don't let him fool you. He's just so petty and picky that he turned down all 4 offers. I mean, granted, all 4 offers was from the WNBA, but it's not the point. It's not the point. It's a privilege to play in these leagues. And him being the chauvinistic little foreigner he is, he turned all 4 down. And that's, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, you could easily got no calls. The Liberty called him. The Sparks. The Mystics. Come on, how you turn down the Mystics? 14 called this young man, and he refused to play, and he said he's leaving the league and going to play overseas. Blasphemy. I call blasphemy. After all New York did for this man. You had Vinsanity, and then we gave Lindsay.
Bro, you got the joke of the day with that one. Fig, what you think?
Listen, I'm gonna go political here, and I'm gonna say, talent, stop the Asian hate. That's what I'm gonna say. You gotta stop the Asian hate. First off, Jeremy Lin is delusional. So you mean to tell me you don't get a phone call, and now you say, okay, so I don't want to play? Like, nobody called you. So, it's like being in the park and everybody picking teams and nobody picked you. He was like, well, I didn't want to play anyway. It's like, so what? Nobody picked you. Like, dude, sit down. Nobody picked you. So how you going to tell somebody I don't want to play after you didn't get a call?
Right.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Jeremy, if you're watching the show, man, you had a good run, bro. You had a good run. You the world was talking about you. You went out there to Sacramento. You stunk it up out there. You've been around the league, man, and
Sparks.
Sometimes it's over, man. And the Sparks ain't a bad team. I mean, You get to LA, you can run with some real good players. You can get a triple double like it ain't nothing.
Right,
So,
right.
That's easy money for you. Good luck.
So he's too picky, man. Let me tell you something. Even in the comedy world, Frank, sometimes somebody call, go, T, what are you doing? I got a room on a Tuesday. It only $500. Now, on the weekend, you probably get 5,000, but it's a Tuesday. You ain't doing nothing. You go get the 500. You sell some merch. You leave out there with a couple grand. You did something that made some sense because you wasn't doing nothing. Here, this dude get 4 calls from the WNBA. 4, not one. 4 teams want him. He don't want to string up and rubber band.
I think he got 5 because one team called him twice.
Why he can't put that ponytail back like he do and go play?
Hey, listen, with the whole transgender thing, he probably could get on the WNBA team because they can't deny him. They can't deny him based on sex. So some of those teams actually, if he just say, "Oh, I'm transgendering," I'm transferring over. Yeah.
And somebody look at his shorts. Somebody's okay. Well, let me look at your shorts. And that's all over. You ain't transgender.
No, I don't think to be transgender, you gotta have an operation. I think you just say, "Oh,
hold on, this show about to be canceled."
I know. Stop.
Transgendering.
I didn't say
Frank
I was disrespect. I said ignorant.
Can we move on? Let me talk about the NFL. I want to move on because we only got. I'm down on time. In the NFL this morning in New England, of course, on Boston radio, everybody's talking about Julio Jones is going to get traded. People are talking about. Yeah, that's what I said. Julio Jones is going to get traded.
Who is Julio Jones? Who the fuck is that?
I met Julio. So
I don't know, but I think he went to Louisville.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frank.
I'm gonna start with you, because you in Atlanta. I'm gonna start with you. Is Julio Jones gonna get traded to San Francisco or New England Patriots? Because that's what the word is right now. They think he's gonna get traded.
The talk around Atlanta is he's gone, and it's gonna be the biggest loss to Atlanta. But you got to get rid of a guy where you still can get something for him. So Julio Jones is gone now. Where he ends up, he probably, in a perfect world, he probably want to end up with Belichick, man.
Okay. Fig, what you think?
Man, that'd be nice, man. Get Julio Jones on a contender and really do something. If he end up with Belichick, there's gonna be that 4th game of the season when they face Tampa, it's gonna be some noise. Or Tom Brady just go up in the front office and be like, "Yo, Julio Jones is available. Let's get him too." And this way, you can guarantee another Super Bowl down in Tampa.
Yeah, that most definitely. Tampa, what you think?
I think that Atlanta needs to make a decision and know for a fact that if he does leave, you are officially on your way to rebuild.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I definitely agree with that. This morning, I had ESPN in the background, and I heard this question, and I was like, "It's this ridiculous question." But I'm gonna ask you guys this. I'm gonna start with you, Talent. The question was, will Justin Herbert ever be an MVP? Actually, they were saying, will Justin Herbert be an MVP next season? I'm gonna say, do you think Justin Herbert will ever be an MVP? I think I'm gonna go on record. I think Justin Herbert in the next 3 years could be an MVP for the Chargers. I could literally see that coming. You all know I've been talking about that kid all last season. Yeah. This kid got an arm like a cannon. Listen, he got all the factors of a great quarterback. What you think, Talent?
Oh no, I agree with you. I do think in the years to come he can achieve that. I think you put too much pressure when you say this coming year. Yeah. I think it's too soon. Do I think in 3-4 years? Absolutely. He has what it takes. He's shown us that. When people show you what they can do with a little bit they got, imagine when you start giving them a little more, plugging those holes and putting them pieces together. Then that talent gets enhanced to the 100th power. So I think, like you said, 3 to 5 years, I can see him getting MVP. Putting that pressure on saying this year, I wouldn't put money on that.
I think I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. The Chargers got a new coach, new defense, new system, new everything. Great wide receivers. Do you think that Justin Herbert could be an MVP in the next 2-3 years?
I don't know, man. We got to look and see. There's so many contenders out there. You got Tampa Bay. You got New England. You got Kansas City, Baltimore. I'm like, Dallas. Damn. I don't know, because he had to beat up on all of those contenders, and we don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's just so many moving parts and variables right now with some of these superstar quarterbacks, man. It's just like, I don't know.
All right, Rodney Perry, you think he could be an MVP in the next 2-3 years?
I don't like the guy at all. He is a good quarterback. He got a great arm. He looks more like a serial killer. I think over the next 5-6 years, he could definitely murder somebody.
He gonna murder somebody on the field. That's what he's gonna do. Y'all, that's the show. The show's over. We gotta get ready to roll up out of here. The show's called The Box Seats. I gotta say, we on 1 to 2. Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, you need to follow me immediately after the show. I'm going live in honor of Paul Mooney. Have my comedian friends pop in and talk about it. My Instagram is Talent the Comedian. Come on in and hear some stories, man, as we pay homage for the next hour or so.
Fig.
Yo, man, your boy Comedian Fig, all social media platforms except Facebook. I'm still in Facebook jail. But Monday through Friday, baby, I'm on the Box Seats 1 to 2 p.m. This is the best damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama.
Rodney Perry, bro.
I'm easy to find. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live on all social media. I'm going to go over the Talent's IG page, man, and shout out to the legend, Mr.
Yeah,
Paul.
we're going to talk about it. Appreciate
All right, y'all. Thanks for y'all.
I talked to George Wallace today, right? George Wallace said, I'm scared as hell. He said, I think I might be next. I said, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he's too healthy. Thanks to Talent. Thanks to Fig. Thanks to Rodney Perry. Thanks to you all watching. This is Frank. The show's called The Box Seats. The channel's Humor Mill. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 1 to 2. Take care.
Yeah.